understand the differences. But if you take the negativity that we see, whether it be music, whether we see it in the family,
Sure.
or whether we see it as all the various different components of the community,
Sure.
and we make that as normal, then regardless of whether you come from a middle to upper middle
Sure.
class household, regardless of whether you go to a good school or not a good
Sure.
school, the end result is going to be the same
Sure.
because the culture says this is the normal way for things to be.
And with people of color like us.
Absolutely.
And we seem to draw energy from that right there, because I come from a very impoverished beginning, and I could doubt if I ever would hurt anyone. You understand me? You know what I mean?
Correct.
But a person that work hard every day as a blue collar worker in our community is seen almost is seen worse than than almost a drug dealer. And there's no respect for that right there. How do we? I guess the point of the point of this discussion here is, what can we do to lift them up? Those that like I said, that supersede what that norm of a black family structure broken down. Yeah.
Okay, a couple of things. Number one, we have to start addressing this early on, pre-K. Okay, and at pre-K and all the way up, all programs have to be created with finding the value.
Okay.
And emphasizing value within each young man and young woman.
Sure.
So that's number one. Some more tangible things we have to do is increase academic achievement with specific goals. Increase the number of young men and women of color taking honors classes. Increase the number of young men and women taking AP classes. In terms of mentoring, what we have to do a better job in is structuring and building more sound mentoring programs.
Sure.
What happens oftentimes, if you don't mind me, I want to speak on this for a second.
Go ahead.
When we say mentoring, what tends to happen is people believe, well, since I'm in a good place, I can go in and mentor kids without the proper training. And what we have oftentimes are people with good hearts, but lack the necessary training to do real mentoring as it needs to be. And so what ends up happening is the individual doing the mentoring suffers, the young person suffers, and the mentoring organization suffers.
Sure.
So what we need are more structured and sound mentoring programs. The other thing I'll say is that we also need more programs based not upon prevention, but based upon promotion.
Okay.
Mother Teresa said this in reading one of the books. I believe it was Dan Miller's book. I could be incorrect on that. But Mother Teresa said, if you invite me to an anti-war rally, I will never come because it's about war. But if you invite me to a pro-peace rally, I will come because it's about peace.
Sure.
So all due respect to the anti-gang programs, the anti-drug programs, anti-dropout programs, but all of that is focused upon preventing that to happen.
Sure.
Programs have to change the paradigm to whereas we create them based upon promotion. The final thing I'll say is we have to build more homogenous based organizations that create an imagery of power and leadership amongst African Americans, to whereas it is not based upon one individual. I like to call that the exception to the rule, where we're inspired by Barack Obama, we're inspired by Malcolm X or Martin Luther King.
Yeah.
Where instead we have programs to whereas there is no one individual face, but it's just an organization.
Right. Sure.
This is where you go.
Right.
Sure.
And I just want to say this right here. We spoke earlier about those that want to mentor and perhaps going from their heart, and perhaps they want to do right, but because they have not had the training, we want to take one moment here to salute them. Because they done what they could with what they had. So many times that there's not a program around that will train people, so people have to grab it from where they at.
You're absolutely
You understand?
right.
That right there is called the emotional state. Now let's get into the intellectual state. Let's really figure out how it's done.
Absolutely. And on that, that's why we have to give a couple of, since we're talking to the audience here, if that's you, if you are a person that says, hey, I want to mentor, maybe I do need a little bit more training, a couple of free resources just to say. You have mentor.org.
Okay.
You can go right there, www.mentor.org. You also have the Mentoring Center. The Mentoring Center is the largest nonprofit mentoring resource program that there is.
Sure.
Depending upon the state you're in, they have what is called mentoring partnerships. New York has one, Connecticut, Philadelphia. We're building one here in New Jersey right now.
Amen.
But these are resources that you can go to click on, and they can give you information. Also say go on Amazon, go to Barnes & Noble.
Sure.
There are tons of books at a low cost
Sure.
that are based upon learning about mentoring. And these are all for free. You shouldn't. No one should be charging you to learn how to become a mentor to do good for your community. But by having stronger mentors,
Sure.
especially those people that have that passion,
Sure.
when they have the passion and then they have the training, what we have now are not only better mentors, but now we have better youth.
Sure.
And the statistics show it. When a young man or woman is being mentored, the dropout rates go down.
Sure.
Drug abuse goes down. Violent approaches go down. What increases graduation rates, a feeling of hope, a feeling of value. These things shoot up. And the other thing about that a mentor can definitely bring is a sense of normalcy. Allowing a young man or woman to see a different world that maybe they do not see on a day-to-day basis.
Yes.
And now you bring a sense of normalcy into that world.
I'm going to say a story real fast. When I was a young man coming up in Providence, I used to think an old car had to break down because that's all I saw was the men working on their cars all day long. But then I met a teacher, and the teacher said, he said, the car don't have to break down. I said, what do you mean? I always see the men working on a car from from sun up to sundown. He said, there's a thing called preventive maintenance. If you got 130,000 miles on your car, it's time to change the springs, it's time to change the bushings, it's time to change this. I said, you mean you can change these things? And yes, you can change them at these periods of time. And then years later, I bought a new car. And then at 60,000 miles, they said, Mr. Jackson, you need to come in so we can change this, that, and the other, whatever. Right. So yes, in truth, we can make a change. Absolutely. And we can build on strength.
Mm-hmm. All right? Absolutely. And one of the other tangible things I want to say to the audience that we do have, I am here tonight and represented not only as an educator at Piscataway High School, but also as
God bless you.
Thank you. But also as the Northeastern Province Guide Right Co-Chairman for Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity Incorporated.
Amen.
And what we have as our core youth leadership program is the Kappa Leadership Institute, also known as Kappa League. And we have Kappa League chapters throughout this entire country, but in our region that we represent, from Maine all the way down to Delaware, we have Kappa League chapters in almost every single major city and in every single state. Right. And what is our mission? Our mission is this: training young men of color for leadership, achievement, and service in every field of human endeavor. Amen. And that's what we're about. But if you go to www.nepguideright.com, you can go there, you can take a look at our website, and there's a directory of all the different Guide Right chairmen that may be in your area if you want to find out more information about our youth programs. But that's what we're doing. We're taking the charge. In our fraternity, we have our motto and our fundamental purpose.
Okay.
And our motto is training for leadership.
All right.
Our fundamental purpose is honorable achievement in every field of human endeavor.
Amen. Hey, I love that. Right. I love that.
But you know what? The challenge for all of us, because to be a member of Kappa Alpha Psi or any fraternity, is that you've beaten the statistics in some way, shape, or form. You have had to go to college.
Sure.
You've gotten your college degree. More than likely, you're making above the median average in the United States.
Sure.
Most members of any fraternal organization as African-American men are more than likely within the top 5 to 3 percentile of African-Americans in terms of education and economic status.
Sure.
So there comes a time in which you have to go from training for leadership to training others for leadership. And there comes a time in which you have to go from achieving yourself to now helping others achieve.
Yes,
So that is our charge within our Guide Right program: helping others lead, helping others achieve.
Yes,
and that's what we do.
All right. Can you have a web or something that people can contact you at?
Right. If you would like to contact myself, and I can point you in the proper direction to the different resources and programs that we run, you can personally contact me. My name is Elmani S. Viney. My email address is guideright@jcnoops.com. Let me spell that for you. That's guideright, GUIDERIGHT @jcnoops, NUPES.com.
All right. Well, you're here, and we're here to help. And I'm going to say this right here, even to some of the parents and grandparents that's raising young men and women. Sometimes you have to put your ego aside, too, because you're not out there with them. And the world that you might have come from in America, well, the world has changed so much. And sometimes it's good to just sit back and salute somebody else. Not that they're going to take all the credit, but if you learn to relax yourself and let others lead and show positive, because what you taught them or what you're working on teaching them will guide them on who